Hello everybody, Average Gamer here. Welcome to one of my newer barbecue videos. So, as you guys know, the last time I did one of these, I did like a really nice roast. Um, Turned out really good and all that stuff. Well, in this one, I'm actually doing a 12.1 pound, um, so about 24 kilo, um, 24 kilo brisket. As you can see here, it's really nice. It was a little dirty. I had to clean it up a little bit, but my buddy's a butcher, so he was able to get me a really nice nice chunk. Well, here it is. So it's a full packer brisket. So this is before I even touched it. Still in the package and all that stuff. Whoops. But here it is, kind of out, and I haven't. I hadn't even trimmed it yet. So at this point, I basically just took it out. As you can see here, I had my whole setup, had everything nice and clean. I had laid down tin foil on my countertop, just to kind of keep anything off the counter. You can see here, I even folded it down around the edges. I wanted to fold it up this way, but I accidentally folded it the wrong way. But yeah, I put a towel down so I could dry it off and all that stuff. And then I went ahead to, slicing it up. So as you can see here, this here is the actual flat part. So most people don't realize it's a brisket. It's actually two muscles. It's the flat muscle and then the point muscle that usually sits on top and then out a little bit like this. So it kind of sits over it, kind of like this or kind of like this. And it sits back, and it's the big part of the back. So what you can do, and then we'll actually go back to the last video here, you can actually see like right across here, the actual muscle. You can see it coming all the way down to about here and then kind of cutting back up this way. What I basically did was I cut along the fat line. You can actually see me here. You don't really need almost any actual pressure yourself. You can see here, the fat is actually just separating almost on its own, because what you do is you put it in the fridge overnight and basically just do this as quickly as you can, but as obviously safely as you can. And basically, I look so happy here. I'm just happy you can see all 8 of my chins here. It was first thing in the morning, so there should be a... There it is. I just finished my coffee. But yeah, so basically you just grab it from this end and kind of grab it along, if you were to have it like the picture you guys have. Basically, I would grab it kind of like here, and then just try to pull up. So grab it and go up, and that will cause this part to kind of stretch out, and then you basically just go whoop, whoop, whoop with your knife, with the tip of it. Just slice small little tiny slices. And what happens is the meat itself naturally, like the two muscles naturally don't really want to be together. So I was going to make a divorce joke, but I couldn't think of one. Like my parents. My mother's dead. So what you do is you grab the top part, and I'm actually pointing at it. So you grab this area here and you lift it up, and you try to fold it back a little bit on itself, and then just slowly cut in. Over here is a lot harder because the muscles are a lot closer. But as you can see, it basically just lifts up. It takes you 20-30 minutes. You just slow, quick cuts. If you get meat, if you hit red, you just change your angle. Basically, as long as you should only be cutting through fat when you do this. It does when you get over here, it gets a lot harder. But as you can see, it basically was me holding it and just going boop, 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 and just slowly sliding it back. It was really good. This is the bottom of it, and as you can see here, there's the flat over here, but that's the actual bottom. So that is this area of it actually right here. And you can see here, every now and then I did catch it. Now, one of the good things about a brisket, the top part, you can nick it more. So the way I usually do this is I'll actually cut it like this. Because the top here already has a lot of fat, while the bottom part really doesn't. And this is where your burnt ends come from. Or we nickname them brisket bites, because I make them so that they're the size of 1-bite brownies. But yeah, so this area here, really good. Sorry, the fat level is really good for protection of this area here. So I usually make more slices accidentally into the top and little chunks out. But this is me actually just already separated and actually cleaning up. That's the top of it. This is me cleaning up the actual flat part, the part that everyone knows about, where, you know, there's the meat and then a little bit of fat on top. This is me actually just after I've been working on it a little bit. You can see here that the actual fat just like almost flakes off. It's actually really good. This is where I've trimmed it up a little bit. I did a quick little slice here, a slice here, a slice here, and a slice here, just to kind of like line up the corners a little bit better. The reason why I do that is because if you have an area that pokes out too much, kind of like even like right here is going to be a bit of a problem. This will actually cook quicker, but I actually will end up burning possibly. And then it'll give a little bit of a bitterness possibly to the area around it, which is not the best in a smoker. Here is the seasoning. So the seasonings. I'm using almost all of these are equal parts. So salt, pepper, garlic are all equal. Basically, I just used whatever the amount is, and it's equal salt, pepper, garlic. But I use 2 different types of salt and 2 different types of garlic. And I'm going to start using 2 different kinds of pepper next time, but that's a little different. But so for salt, I use Himalayan pink salt, especially just, I think it's either high or low. I can't remember what the betterment part of it is, but you know, it's got some better things for you apparently. But I use a little bit of it. I use maybe about a teaspoon if I'm going more than a teaspoon. But depending on the full amount of my what I'm cooking, I'll use the pink Himalayan salt mixed in with alderwood smoked salt. Get some alderwood, smoke up some salt, and basically I'll put in an equal to that amount with the Himalayan pink salt, kind of mix it together. And then usually with some granulated pepper and granulated white pepper, mix those 2 in. And then garlic, granulated garlic, so like garlic powder, and garlic. It's called it's basically like diced garlic, but it's been dried diced garlic. You can see little chunks of it in here. So it's technically dried garlic, but it's not, but it's not the powder. And it's like little chunks of it. Then I usually do a teaspoon or 2, depending. Like this is gonna be a big boy, so it's brown sugar, a little bit of cayenne. Nothing here is actually, there's no wet ingredients. It's all dry. Brown sugar. I was trying to figure out a way to get granulated honey. Problem with that is that honey, once it hits the meat, will start to melt. So I kind of went against that idea. I use a special binder. I don't tell anyone what it is. You actually can't even see any of it on here. Yeah, you can't see it at all. Nope, you can't. What else did I use? I used a couple little extra ingredients that I don't tell anybody about, only because it's my barbecue. Everyone loves my barbecue. My family comes from like 2 or 3 hours. 3 hours? Yeah, about 3 hours away to come eat this brisket. Trying to think what else here that I can tell everyone about. There's no pork products in it, only because a friend of mine is allergic to bacon, or pork. But one of the plans is, and will be, for one of these, is to do a maple bacon rub one of these days, which we'll try. Oh, and there's also paprika in here as well. 2 types of paprika. Regular paprika and then smoked paprika. Both Hungarian, from actually a Hungarian place here in town. You hear the dog in the background. Basically threw that on there, threw the binder on first, rubbed it down with the binder, and no, it wasn't mustard, and no, it wasn't olive oil. I won't tell you what it was. I'll just tell you that you can't taste it unless you know it's there, type thing. And even then, it really doesn't do much, but it just helps kind of break down the meat a little bit more. I'll give you a hint. It has to do with pineapples. But anyways, so 2 paprikas, mix that all together, let it sit overnight, and then just threw it all on. It was good. Got little chunks here and there, but that's no big deal. Here's the top part I mentioned. So you can see all the different striations in the meat. There is a ridiculous amount of fat in the top of this thing in comparison to the bottom. The bottom part, you have to keep a fat cap on top so the fat renders down into the meat, though some people in some weird areas in the United States flip it upside down and cook it fat side down. I think that's maybe so that the fat drips off and doesn't get into the meat, maybe. I don't know. I usually do, and a lot of Canadians do it, fat side up, just so that the fat renders down into the meat, kind of like how we do prime rib. I am looking into a way to possibly do a brisket, like a classic prime rib, how we do them here in Canada, which is up on its end, with a fat cap. Like basically you get a big chunk of fat and put it on top, and the fat just renders into the meat. It's so good. But I'm gonna try to figure out a way to do that, but also make sure that I'm able to keep a bark. I might, like, on my smoker I've got a grate, so put the grate down and then put just chunks of fat on top of the grate, and then let the fat just drip down onto the brisket maybe. But yeah, so here's the point. You can see the striations. If I look into another spot here, all the different little, like, all the marbling, this makes it amazingly good for little cubes of goodness, as they're called. Or you can see all the fat over here. Little, basically, they're burnt ends. Basically, you get them, you cube them, you smoke them with the flat here, and then later on, you basically just throw them in a second time, throw them in barbecue sauce, and that's pretty much it. There they are, wrapped. That's my logo. Overall, I have to tell you now, this thing is my favorite thing ever. This is just a little video just telling you guys what I've been up to this weekend, why there hasn't been any live streaming. I've been dealing with this. I'm not even cooking it. If you want to figure this out, just how big this thing is, I'm 6'3", and I have my arm almost all the way extended. Like, my arm is extended like this. There's a picture. I don't have a picture of me with my hand, do I? Let me look here real quick. No, those are all the pictures I have. But my hand is about this big on there, and I've got a big hand. It's a big chunk of meat, and I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And for the record, people that will probably look in the background to try and figure out what this binder magically is. No, it's not butter. I actually just noticed that stick of butter in there. I'm actually looking in the background. Oh, I got pumpkin seeds back there. Well, don't ignore that. Please don't see that. That is my my recipe for peanut butter cookies. You can see some of my rubs back there. Glad you can see my, like, when it comes to brisket, I hand make the rubs all the time, so. But yeah, so there we go. I am rambling. I'm done for the day when it comes to this video. I'm going to go back and deal with some of the stuff associated with it, with the cleanup and all that stuff. If you have any questions in regards to smoking a brisket, meat or whatever, I am thinking of opening up and starting up a second channel associated with just meat and meatiness. Briskets, pork shoulders, aka Boston butts, pulled pork things, you name it. I'm pretty much willing to throw it on a smoker. I think I have starting up a channel called Will It Smoke or something like that. But yeah, 12-pound brisket. She's going. I'll give you guys an update later in the week. See you then. Bye bye.